When we first built this chicken coop, the goal was simple. We needed to get these chickens out of the house and into a safe place of their own. But after using it every day, we realized the coop was built, but it was not finished for the real chicken chores. They were getting bigger, eating more, drinking more, and making a much bigger mess. We had chickens sleeping in corners, poop getting buried in the bedding, and a feeding and watering system that just was not keeping up anymore. So, before moving on to the porch makeover, we had one more coop project to finish. This is our final chicken coop video for a while. Today, we're making the coop easier to clean, easier to maintain, and ready for hens to start laying. The biggest problem we needed to solve was the cleaning situation. Since we did not have enough roosting space, the chickens had been huddling up in the corner at night. And when they sleep there, they poop there too. Then during the day, they scratch through the bedding and buried underneath. We tried using a cat litter scooper in the mornings, and that helped some, but we knew it was not going to be enough long term. For the inside of the coop, we went with medium flake pine horse bedding because it was a lot cheaper than the chicken specific bedding we were seeing. One thing we're glad we did from the beginning was use vinyl flooring inside the coop. The vinyl in the storage area came from our old house in Louisiana, and the vinyl in the coop was left over from the current build in our home today. Underneath it, we used leftover tar paper to help protect the OSB subflooring from moisture. So far, that has made cleanup a lot easier. We can sweep it, clean it with a vinegar solution, and it gives us a waterproof layer under the bedding. The run had its own problem. When the chickens first moved out here, there was grass in the run, but they scratched that down in no time. Once the grass was gone, it turned into dirt. The rain, moisture, and poop started turning into a muddy mess. After doing some research, we decided to try pine pellets to help soak up the moisture. We sprayed them with water before letting the chickens back in because we wanted the pellets to soften and expand. We also did not want the chickens mistaking them for food. Once the pellets softened, we added medium flake pine bedding over the top and raked everything smooth. It took about 6 bags of pellets and 6 bags of bedding to cover the run the way we wanted. The chickens have scratched it down, but so far it's keeping the run from turning back into a muddy mess. The old feeding and watering setup worked when they were smaller, but when the flock grew, it wasn't enough anymore. We were constantly refilling, the water was getting dirty, feeding was getting wasted, and the chickens were climbing all in it. So, my youngest son made a bigger feeder using a 32-gallon trash barrel and feeder porch around the bottom. This part was simple, but it made a big difference. Instead of small feeders that had to be refilled over and over, this barrel could hold around 3 40-pound bags of feed. For water, we made 2 5-gallon bucket waterers with red watering cups. We installed 8 cups total, and the chickens figured them out right away. We didn't really have to teach them. They were curious. They walked right over and started using the new system. Now every morning, we give them fresh water, check their feed level, and the chores are already a whole lot easier. Now that the hens are getting closer to laying age, it was time to get the nesting boxes built. We are expecting around 24 to 23 hens, so we decided to build 4 to 5 nesting boxes using leftover plywood and scrap wood we already had. This was not meant to be a fancy build. It was meant to be simple, useful, and budget friendly. That's really been the theme with this coop. We've tried to use what we already had wherever we could, because every project on the homestead can add up fast. We built the boxes into the partition wall, added dividers, and used what we had on hand to make them work for our setup. The goal was just to give the hens a clean, comfortable place to lay when the time comes. Our youngest son helped a lot with this part, and that's one of the things we love about projects like this. The kids are not just watching us build the homestead, they're learning, helping, and becoming part of the work that goes into it. Some of these projects take longer when everybody is learning, but that's part of the reason why we're doing this in the first place. Once the boxes were finished, we added straw and built a small ramp to help the chickens get up to them. They may not use everything perfectly at first, and we know we may still have to adjust things as we go. But now, when the hens are ready to start laying, the nesting boxes are ready for them. The roost bars and poop board were probably the most important part of this entire setup. We already had one roost bar, but the chickens were getting bigger and there wasn't enough space anymore. We thought about using 2x4s, but we have plenty of branches around the property, and we liked the idea of giving them something more natural. Before installing them, my youngest son sanded the branches down so there would not be rough spots or anything sharp on their feet. Then we started working on the poop board that would sit underneath the roost bars. This was the part we probably should have done sooner. Most of the nighttime droppings should land on this board instead of getting buried in the floor bedding. That should help us spot clean better, keep the coop fresher, and hopefully keep us from replacing all the bedding so often. For now, we're testing this liner method. The plan is to let it catch the droppings, roll it up when it needs to be changed, and replace it with fresh liner. If it works, we'll keep doing it. If we find something better later, we'll adjust. After getting everything installed, the coop finally feels set up for real daily use. chickens have more roosting space, the hens have nesting boxes ready for them when they start laying, we have a better way to catch nighttime droppings, and the feeding and watering system is much easier to keep up with. This whole setup cost us around $140. The reason we were able to keep it that low is because we used a lot of leftover materials from other projects. It's not perfect, and we may still change things as we learn, but for right now, it feels like exactly what the coop needed. When we first started this coop, we were just trying to get the chickens out of the house and into a safe place. Now they have shelter, protection, space, food, water, bedding, roost, and nesting boxes ready for them at the next stage.
Hey y'all, quick update from me. After we finished everything, we realized there were still a couple of things we had to figure out. That first night, we actually had to go back out and put the chickens on the roost bars ourselves. Then the next morning, we had to show them how to get down. And we learned pretty quickly that the liner method may not be the best long-term option for us. So we went and we picked up some PDZ stall refresher. It's made from zeolite, and we're going to try using that on the poop board instead to help with moisture, ammonia, and hopefully make it easier to scoop each day. We're still learning, still adjusting, and figuring out what works best for our coop.
So this will be our final chicken coop video for a while. Next up, we're turning our attention back to the house. The porch makeover is next.